Hey everybody, this is Accelerator here, bringing you another episode of Terraria. So in this episode, we're going to do some exploring, hopefully some cave spelunking. The first half of the video is mainly exploring in the overworld, and then we go underground. So basically, the overall goal of the game is just to try to upgrade your stuff as much as possible. That was some iron ore we just found. Iron ore is more commonly found underground, but you will find some underground, and you'll need it to make more tools later. I'll explain that once we finally get back to my house. We also eventually need to start building some more houses, so you might want to collect some wood while you're out, if you don't have a lot already. If you're really hearing the sound effects and they sound screwed up, that's because I chose to this time rather than what's what I'm looking for. This time, rather than just having not recording sound, I had the sound recorded without the music recorded. I changed the music volume to 0, so you'll still hear sound effects. Some copper ore. I think I probably explained that last time, but it's basically the weakest tier besides actually, you know, stuff you can make like weapons and everything. It's the weakest tier in which you can make everything. Like you can make a wooden hammer, a wooden sword, and a wooden bow, but that's about all you can make out of wood. With copper, you can make pickaxe, axe, all that kind of stuff. That is the corruption, right there with the purple stuff. You don't want to go there yet at all. You want to wait till much later. You at least wait until you have some decent armor before you go there. You also want to kill as many slimes as you can because that's how you make torches. Torches are made with 1 wood and 1 gel. Another thing you might also want to consider making at some point is a bow. Copper, wood, iron, whatever you want, as long as you have the materials. It doesn't really matter for your first bow, but it'll probably either be copper or wood. Do a copper bow if you can, but only if you have the necessary materials to make that and a copper sword, broadsword. You always want to make the sword first, honestly. But a wooden bow is incredibly easy to make, and the arrows are pretty easy to make as well. So, yeah, so that's what you want to do first time. Also, if you are gonna do the whole bow and arrow thing at the beginning of the game, you also want stone, because stone, that's how you make 5. Let's see, I believe, assuming I have the recipe correct, it's 1 arrow and 1 stone, or excuse me, 1 wood and 1 stone equals 5 arrows. If you're doing arrows, that's also another reason to try to get as much gel and wood, even more gel and wood, because a torch plus 3 arrows equals 3. Yeah, a torch plus 3 arrows equals 3 wooden arrows, or 3 flaming arrows. Excuse me, not wooden arrows. So yeah, that's a good thing to keep in mind. I think I do eventually make a bow in this part, but I don't actually use it or anything yet. Day blooms. You want to get those if you can. Look for them during the day. You're not going to find them at night. They only bloom during the day, hence the name Day Bloom. They're used in a lot of potions. As well as mushrooms, if you find those, you want to collect them too, because you can make potions out of them as well. Specifically, lesser healing potions. Also, if you have a Day Bloom, you can also make a regeneration potion out of that. But first off, you also will need, what's what I'm looking for? I just picked up a boomerang, by the way. You also need bottles, bottled water. The bottles are made with glass and sand, which you're not gonna find early on until you get to a desert. But unfortunately, on this world, the desert is either on the other side of the corruption or the other side of a biome we'll be seeing later called the jungle. So we're not gonna be getting any sand anytime soon, unfortunately. But sand is used to make glass is used to make bottles. I think the way it ends up working out is that 1 sand equals 1 bottle. So you change it, like 2 sand equals 1 glass, but then 1 glass makes 2 bottles. I think something like that. And a bottled water is just made by going into your crafting menu. When you have a bottle in your inventory and you're near a body of water. As you can see, my wooden broadsword and my wooden boomerang right now have the same stats. So it's not that big of a deal for them to be use one or the other. Wooden boomerangs are interesting because they're technically, I would technically consider them a ranged weapon. Those are sunflowers, by the way. I'll get to those in just a second. But they're technically a ranged weapon, but they deal melee damage. So just keep that in mind. And what I just picked up a second ago were sunflowers. Sunflowers, they're only really used in the beginning, is that before a certain thing happens called hard mode, the corruption actually spreads slowly. Sunflowers can stop that spreading. So yeah, there's that. So you might want to put a sunflower right next to your corruption early on. So yeah, you'll actually find quite a bit of copper above ground. But you will find some iron like that. Sometimes big veins of iron like that. Another thing to keep in mind is that you can heal quickly by pressing the H key or whatever, or you can change which key it's mapped to. By default, it's mapped to the H key. You can change nearly all the controls in this game except for a couple things. F9 changes the lighting engine. There's 4 different types of lighting: white, color, retro, and trippy. Retro just looks kind of bad. Trippy looks bad as well, but keep in mind, ores glitter while you have trippy lighting on. So keep that in mind. As for day blooms, you plant them on grass, and they'll grow. Well, they just grow. You'll know when they're ready to be harvested because they will, during the day, they will look like sunflowers, except they're obviously not sunflowers because they're not as big as the actual sunflowers are in this game. But anyway, now when nighttime comes, it would be advisable for you to grind zombies. You see, now eventually you'll be hearing zombie sounds off screen a little bit, and the slimes will stop spawning during the night as well. Also, one thing you should try to kill many of is demonize. Oh, also, you may see some lighter colored grass blocks around here. That's actually because, and some mud blocks, that's actually, that's a trick I used to get back to my spawn point. You can save and exit and then go and re-enter the world. You go back to your spawn point while all your items and everything attacked. Anyway, you may have seen some lighter colored grass blocks there and some mud blocks. If you were watching the video close enough, maybe in full screen, I don't know. That is because I was near the jungle, which is another place you don't want to go yet. So I just made an iron anvil out of 5 iron bars. You make the iron bars out of furnace, and you make the... I just put on some... I'm going to make some copper chainmail out of my copper bars. I believe it's 25. I also just made a copper broadsword. I was just checking to see if the housing was suitable. So basically, we're just waiting for an NPC to move in. NPCs have different... oh yeah, let me explain more about the iron anvil. You need the iron anvil to make any of your weapons and such. So basically, there are a few, like, NPC qualifications that you must have. I believe for the merchant, it's 5 silver. For the nurse, you have to have found a life crystal underground and raised your life. We'll be getting to that later. If you're going to have the demolitions move in, you have to have 1 explosive, which we haven't found any of yet. I think for the arms dealer, you just have to have any sort of ammunition in your inventory. I'm not 100% sure on that. For the Dryad, I think for the Dryad, you have to have beaten any of the world's bosses. I just found a shackle. A shackle is an accessory that you can use. I just found a guarding shackle there by killing a zombie. Shackles are items that have a pretty low drop rate from zombies. You also want to kill demonize if you can, because they drop one of 2 things. They drop lenses, which can be crafted into the summoning item for the first boss. That one drops the hasty shackle, which raises your speed. And it also gives you 1 defense. All shackles give you 1 extra defense. I put on the hasty shackle rather than the guarding shackle. It decreases my defense by 2 from the 5 I had previously. But it makes me faster. And I like fast. I like speed. It might be kind of hard to see. I apologize for that. I might see if I can raise the brightness of this part. But anyway, Demonize can also drop... Demonize drop the lenses, which can be used to craft our first boss summoning item, the suspicious-looking eye, which will summon the Eye of Cthulhu, which we'll get to again later. And they can also be used... They can also be used in archery potions, which are useful if you're using bow and arrow for anything, specifically if you're going to fight a boss using the bow and arrow. Like the Eye of Cthulhu is recommended to be fought, actually. You'll do more damage that way. Also, Demonize can also drop black lenses. It's like a 0.2% chance, so it's incredibly rare. But they can drop black lenses, and with black lenses, you can get 2 of them and craft them into sunglasses, which are a vanity item. Vanity items don't provide any boost to your stats, but they have this thing called the social slot, which basically means you can, or basically if I were wearing a helmet in my head slot, but in my social head slot I had the sunglasses, I would be wearing the sunglasses on my sprite, but I'd still get the benefits of the helmet. So, yeah, that's pretty nifty. And, you know, we all want sunglasses. I really always wanted to have sunglasses in this game, because sunglasses are freaking awesome. Unfortunately, you don't see a black lens drop in this particular episode. I hope to try to get it at some point. In fact, maybe one day I'll dedicate a video to it. Who knows? But anyway. Those demon eyes are the main reason why you might want to get a bow and arrow. They're hard to kill otherwise. So we didn't really do any exploring in this part, but actually there was a cave right, or exploring underground in this part, excuse me, but rather there's actually a cave right next to my house. So I really should have just gone in there, but oh well. So yeah, right now I'm just grinding zombies, hoping to get some shackles. Grinding demon eyes, hoping to get some black lenses. And actually, it just became nighttime. I can tell by that demon eye just left, and there's no more zombies spawning. It's getting brighter, so it just turned daytime. Obviously you can't tell on this video right now because there's no music, but I'll add in music. But anyway. So yeah, now we're gonna go exploring in the cave. So the copper short sword doesn't have a prefix or anything. I think I mentioned this in the last episode, but excuse me. Excuse me. Items can have random prefixes, depending on, yeah, it's random chance, really. But items, your items can have prefixes. Now that I have torches, I can go and explore this area, and I'm in this cave for quite a bit, actually. This is where you'll find most of your ores and such. For example, there's some copper there. You'll find pretty large veins of copper and iron, smaller veins of, oh, you know, no, I take that back. Substantially large veins of silver you can find underground. Iron, and eventually, once you get deep enough, and you might want to try to, or if you get lucky, you can find some gold ore as well, which is one of the best ores you can find in the stone layer. You can find an ore called demonite, but generally you'll get most of your demonite from boss kills. Now, see, I'm in trouble here because I'm running out of air, and I'm having trouble getting out of the water. But there we go, I fixed that situation pretty quickly. Another thing in this game that I haven't mentioned yet is fall damage. You do take damage from falling. I also just barely dodged a dart trap there. You probably couldn't see it because the video sped up. But basically, they happen randomly underground where there's a pressure plate, and there's a wire to a dart trap, and then the dart trap will hit you and will poison you, and poison will constantly lower your health. Also, our merchant just arrived, so there's our first NPC besides the guide. Since the guide is living in our house right now. There's a pretty decent vein of silver, and there's also one other thing I forgot to mention is gemstones. There's some topaz up there. Gemstones are more so useful for things like, gemstones aren't really useful for anything yet, but you do want to collect them because especially if you plan on using magic a lot, which you'll be getting later in the game. The jungle armor that we'll be seeing later, hopefully acquiring later, requires it's a very low amount, but there's a certain amount of each gemstones, and you need a few of each. So you want to collect any gemstones you see. There's a whole bunch of copper up there, so I decided to get that because I can still make some copper armor. I would probably recommend trying to get a full set of armor rather than mixing and matching stronger armor types. Because you get set bonuses for having a full set of the same type of armor. And early on, it might not matter quite as much because most of the set bonuses are just extra defense. But eventually you'll get armor sets where the bonus is a boost in speed, or you might get some particle effects. Like, for example, the armor you get for demonite to your weapons actually can it actually what's the word I'm looking for? It has like it gives you an after image. Now, you see here at this point, I nearly screw myself over. No, I do screw myself over here because now I can't see. I don't have an item called glow sticks yet. So I just do the save and quit trick, rather than dying and losing my money. So I go ahead and check out the merchant while I'm here, and this is actually about when I'm about to end the video. I sell my annoying copper broadsword, my demonic wooden broadsword, the dart trap. That's it. And then I actually go back in. Now that I have 1 gold, I buy the piggy bank. The piggy bank will allow you to store your money. It basically acts as a player-specific chest. Chests are something I haven't really gotten into the mechanics much of yet, but chests basically will store inventory. Piggy bank is basically an inventory that's specific to a character. So you can have multiple characters in the same world using the same piggy bank and having different items in them, if I remember correctly. Or either that or they're world specific, I don't remember. But basically, you can make 2 piggy banks and they'll both have the same stuff in them. I don't know if it's per character or per world, I honestly don't remember. But I decided to make the iron broadsword because here's the thing. I decided to make the iron pickaxe and stick with my copper broadsword for now because the pickaxe generally takes more materials to craft than the sword, so we'll be ready for the silver sword soon, but it'll be a while for the iron pickaxe. So, I have been Accelerator. This has been an episode of Terraria, where we have explored. Next time we will explore underground some more, hopefully try to find another cave to make our exploring a bit more fruitful. This has been Accelerator, this has been Terraria, and I will see you in the next episode. Peace out.